Present.
Vice Chair Lucas,
Present.
Trustee Linares,
Present.
Trustee Markle,
Present.
and Trustee Spanzo. We have a quorum.
Thank you so much. All right, on to public comments. The public is invited at this time to provide comment on any topic that relates to a matter over which this public body has supervision, control, jurisdiction, or advisory power. I don't see anybody here, so I think we're going to move on. Okay. Item number 4, approval of the minutes. Has everybody had a chance, an opportunity to read the minutes?
This is Trustee Markle. I move to approve the meeting minutes for April 9th, 2026.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
This is Trustee Linares. I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion passes. Thank you. Item number 5. Let's go on to the library director's administrative reports.
Well, hello.
Hello.
Joy Holt, Library Director for the record. Does anyone have any questions about the financials?
I wonder if you could tell us more about the augmentations that you mentioned later in the in your director's report, just since we're looking at the financials.
Sure. I actually didn't end up doing any. At the last minute, I thought, do I really need to do augmentations? Because it's a change in, an augmentation is typically when we've got, say, a $10,000 budget in a line item, but I want to, or excuse me, we have zero budget in a line item and I want to add money to that line item. Otherwise, it's a journal entry and I can do that myself. Or when I want to pull money forward, like I've done with the gift fund money we pulled forward in our last augmentations in November. The grant money was the one that I thought I was going to have to be doing. I was actively working on and then stopped myself and thought, because we did a drawdown, we did our final drawdown or our last drawdown for the GoEd grant or interlocal agreement. And I started thinking about it and thought, I don't think I actually need to do an augmentation because the money is just, they're going to apply it towards either the salary or the services and supplies, because those are really the only two line items that we have that we pay in our grants. And so the finance department will just automatically disperse that money correctly. I don't need to communicate that to them. So it would be kind of me kind of muddying the water a little bit by having to tell them to do something that they're already going to do. So I called them and just said, this is what I'm thinking. And they were like, no, that's okay. So I didn't have any augmentations this time. And sometimes I don't. I always have them in the first round because of pulling the gift fund money forward, from mostly due to the Friends donation. But this time I was working on it when I wrote this and then ended up like having a aha moment that saved some time. So I apologize for any confusion there.
Well, thank you. It's just that you had mentioned it, and then I wasn't really quite sure. what
You
the
know,
story
no, that was a legitimate question. I forgot I put it in there, actually.
Okay. On the publicity and special events,
Yeah.
I'm just kind of curious, is that like the wonderful paper copies that you have? And I mean, like, you know what I mean? What costs money there?
That can be special print jobs that we're going to do. We haven't done any this year, but if we're going to use like an outside printer, which we will do once we're finished with the strategic plan and we do like a nice like trifold, we'll have that printed out with a printer. But in this case, what it has to do with is our payment to Carson Now for press releases and things of that type. It pays for our Hootsuite, which is the platform we use that pushes out all of our social media. It also covers any sort of additional costs for marketing that we're going to do for any kind of special event.
Any other questions on this? No?
Okay, So I'm going to move on to my report. Okay. So, staffing updates, and I'm planning that we're going to have some conversation about this tonight. But just to kick it off, our one senior library assistant position, those interviews concluded, and we do have an offer out. We have a verbal acceptance, but we're waiting on the written offer letter to be signed by the candidate and sent back to Human Resources. So we always announce names and all of that after they've signed on the dotted line. There has been an offer extended and verbally accepted for the Library Resources and Systems Manager, which is the position, the Workforce Development Social Services Coordinator position that I rewrote. We concluded interviews last week. We've extended an offer. We have a verbal acceptance, and it's the same scenario as the SLA job. We're waiting on the formal offer letter to be signed by the candidate and back to HR.
And what's
So-
that one? I'm sorry.
For the Library Resources and Systems Manager,
Okay.
that was the job that the description I
Right.
rewrote, yeah. And then, so that's part of our management tier. That'll be our last management position to fill. And then we conducted our collection development librarian interviews, and I believe Sarah was able to make contact this afternoon with the last reference, because we were doing reference checks. And if all goes as it's gone with the other references, we will be extending an offer to our selected candidate. So that position is tentatively filled, but not as far along. We had shelver interviews pending, and they both got canceled. One candidate was sick, and I think the other just didn't respond to the interview time that was offered, and we didn't hear anything back. So there are going to be a second round of shelver interviews next week.
So on the two where you're waiting for the letter to come back,
Mhm.
were these internal candidates, or did you find out outside people?
One is outside and one is internal.
Okay, thank you.
Actually, let me back up. So there's two the letters, sorry. For the letters, the actual letters that have been drafted and sent out, one is internal, one is outside, and then the other candidate is from outside as well.
Okay.
We only had outside candidates for that, so that's exciting. I'm not even going to say the words. And that's what we've got going on for programming and outreach. A lot of Mother's Day stuff that I wanted to include. The Oros de Cuentos launch, that is our Spanish only, so all in Spanish story time. We did do an outreach event at the Tapatio ice cream shop for the Day of the Child. And we actually had quite a few people stop by our table, and we had like 40 people. And so, fingers crossed, I think we might be starting to make some real inroads with our Spanish-speaking community, which we know is underserved. And as you guys know, I've really been trying to make better contact and have better outreach with that demographic. So I think we're really starting to get there. If anyone wants to know how to play D&D, which is Dungeons and Dragons, my mind is a little blown by what goes into it. It took an hour and a half just to come up with my character, and we're still not done. It's very detailed. Anyway, so we'll see. But we had our first workshop for the public, because each staff member did one with the dragon or the dungeon master, who is our employee Tiger Ratcliffe. So this was for the public, and he had a full house. All of his slots were taken.
What
So
was
he had room for 8 people because it's something you kind of have to do in a smaller group each time because it takes, I mean, there's a whole sheet and you got to get online and look at, I mean, it's very, like it's very nuanced. And so, and lots of details. So he had 8 kids show up to create their characters and hopefully they'll come back and he'll be the dungeon master, which means he runs the game. And yeah, it's a whole thing, but it's very fun. Huh?
What are the ages?
The age is tweens to teens, but we're probably going to open it up to all ages because, D&D was a very hot dig when I was in high school, and I never played it, but I knew that guys that did play it, and they would insult each other with like references to the game in class and stuff. So I knew the tone was insulting, but I didn't actually understand any of it. So I think, I think it's going to have a real following because I think people are really getting back into it for a variety of reasons. There's a show on Netflix that characters play D&D, and so I think it's just it's having a revival right now. And then we are also doing another event in the makerspace that is also in Spanish. So, and then you can see all of our STEAM programs that are happening every Saturday. And then you can see all of those outreach events.
Yeah, can you give us a few details on those outreach events? Some of them seem self-explanatory, and you mentioned the one on May 5th, but like, what does civic engagement outreach, what does that mean?
Oh, that was that was on Saturday, and I didn't, it had a couple of different names, so I thought, well, I'll just put civic engagement outreach, but what it was
Yeah.
me and Haley went to the, another ice cream place that's I can't remember the name, I can't pronounce the name, but it's in Spanish, it's behind the Little Caesars, and they had a voters registration event.
Oh, great.
So the recorder's office was there, or the clerk was there, Scott Hohen, and we were there, and we just went with all of the stuff that we have, both in Spanish and English, related to voting and, really learning the Constitution and all the different electronic resources we have so that people can learn how the elections process works, how bills become bills, all of that.
Nice. Did I see a picture of that on Facebook?
Probably.
You said it was behind Little Caesars in the mall?
No, it's behind the Little Caesars over here on William.
That's what I
Is it William
thought.
Williams?
That's what I thought.
It's by that Jiffy Lube over here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in a strip mall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to that ice cream
And it's a
place.
different location than La Tapatia. So we did the Cinco de Mayo with La Tapatia, but we also did an earlier Day of the Child was the end of April with La Tapatia. So we've done a couple of things there.
And what about the Galaxy Theater outreach?
Well, they come to us and we go to them. They have a Tuesday night, $5 movie night. And so we post up at the theater and hand out our stuff and give out 3D printed Shotskis. And then they come to us and do a similar thing with like a craft and talk about the movie theater and hand out movie theater popcorn. So they reached out to us and said, we really want to do stuff with the library. So we've done it. We've been doing quite a bit with them. Yeah.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
This one is at the theater on May 19th or at the library?
That's a great question, but I think it's at the theater
Okay, and then.
because they've been flip-flopping.
And then is the movie a special movie or?
No, it's just what, yeah, I mean, I think it's an older movie that's a $5 movie. So it's like, that's why we go that night because they get more traffic because it's a $5 movie night. Which is why the $5 movie night is relevant to the event. But really, it's just us partnering with them and showing what, like if they're showing a movie or they have movies in the theater that are from a book, that were based on a book, then we take that book and say, hey, do you want to read the book that inspired this movie? And so it's just a way for us to get out and do some community partnering, but also I expect that it will become more fruitful as they're going to donate some tickets for summer reading. They've talked about maybe doing some sort of like film screening with the library, and that kind of thing. So yeah. And again, they reached out to us. So, and we've had quite a few community partners reaching out to us, asking us if we want to partner with them. So we're doing something right when they're reaching out to us, which I think is all testament to our programming and outreach team. They're just killing it. And then the last thing is a Spanish book club, and that is actually a book club that our partner who owns La Tapatia, her name is April, asked, could we do just a book club that's in Spanish for Spanish speakers? And so we said, sure. And so we created a book club in a bag for them, and then they're going to come to the library. And right now, the tentative plan is that they'll have their book club in the library one night or 1 month, and then the following month we'll go to La Tapatia and do the book club with them there with our Spanish speaking staff. So
So,
Was the
do you have
demo- sorry.
Do you have to buy Spanish-speaking books then?
Mhm. yeah, we
Set up.
created a book club in a bag. That's a book that was recommended by April. That's in Spanish and originally written in Spanish.
So do you have to buy a new one every month then? I mean,
Well, so not necessarily, because she also wants to let them choose
uh-huh.
the titles that they want. So this particular instance, we were like, well, we'll help kick this off by purchasing this book. And one of the reasons why we were like, yes, we'll buy this book, because it's very popular, and it's an author that is writing originally who is from Mexico and is writing originally in Spanish. It's not a translation, and it's pop fiction. So allegedly, I can't really say because it's in Spanish.
You haven't read it.
No. But we want to, just as we buy the book club in bags for our English speaking book club.
Mhm.
So,
Cool.
mhm.
And what are the demographics for that? Will that be around April's age? when she
I
has-
think it's across the board, honestly, because she has a lot of different ages that come to, they've got families with kids, but just older folks that are coming too.
Mhm.
But I would say probably it's mid-30s to mid-50s.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's very nice to hear. I like that.
I have two curiosities.
Okay.
One is, so how does it go at like Carson Middle and at the high school? Do you go to their library and do they have a class at that time, or what's the deal there?
It's two different things. Carson
Okay.
Middle School they reached out to us and asked us to go to a event they were having at the school. And we went there and set up for their event. I can't remember exactly what it was. Not Fritch. It was at Carson Middle School, and it was probably like a parent teacher night or something along those lines. Sometimes they have STEAM nights, and we'll go. And that was one of those events where they reached out and said, "Would you like to come and set up a table and engage with our students and their parents?" So we did that. And then the high school is actually something that Haley Wilson, our programming and outreach coordinator, and Michael Hansen, our programming librarian, go to the school and go to the library and take STEAM equipment with them and create whatever particular sort of STEAM-related artwork or whatever kind of project they're going to do, and they go during lunchtime. So they're there from 10 to 12. The kids go to lunch on a rotation. So some go to lunch pretty early, and so they go out and just kind of mingle with the kids. And in fact, the speaking event I did with Dr. Markle, their high school, the high school librarian, and she's the district librarian, was on the panel with us, and she approached me afterward and said, "I just want to say that the library is so great to work with, and Haley and Michael are so awesome, and we've never had the kids this engaged for events that the libraries come to us to conduct." So that's what the Carson High School event is, and that's more regular.
Great. Yeah, that's Ananda Campbell. She's great. Yes. My broader question also is, because I don't know if we've heard this before, so sorry if I've been missing it, but things like business, working together with businesses, I think that's wonderful. And the fact that they came to us, you, which is great. Are there any things that that we as a public entity need to be aware of when working with a private company? Like, it's not exactly a sponsorship, but then again, it's a liaison of something. Is there anything, or am I just like going too far?
Well,
Like, what if somebody came, is there a business you would say no to? If you had one ice cream shop, would you say, oh, we already have an ice cream shop? I'm just, because I didn't ever think about this until just this moment. So I'm just kind of curious. Maybe it's an Adam question. Like, is it, and he's saying, no, thanks, Sam. You know what I mean? Is there anything there that's more than just goodness, or that needs to be, oh, an awareness? You know what I'm saying?
I would think the first thing is not get political.
yeah, it's never political, and we're
No,
not.
but I'm just saying that would be one business.
Yeah,
that would be
we're not promoting La Tapatia. We're promoting the Spanish language events that are at La Tapatia.
Don't
And we happen
misinterpret
to
me and think
provide,
that I'm
yeah.
saying I'm not pleased with it. I'm just saying, is there a layer that's,
Well, I've already considered that.
okay,
Are we doing something that could be like legally fuzzy? I've already considered that, yeah. So us partnering with a business is not inappropriate if we're not marketing. The purpose of the partnership is not to market the business. It's to work with the business so that they can help us generate interest in literacy, and we go there to market the library, and they come to us to talk about what they're doing that's related to literacy and other learning opportunities that are aligned with what we do. But it's not to promote a business.
Nobody's making any money.
and that's
No.
fine. I just always think there's probably things that I just don't think about. So I'm glad you thought.
Well, I think about all of that. That's why I'm the director, right? Hopefully, that's part of what I've been entrusted with thinking about, and do always think probably too much about any murky waters that we could be wading into. But as far as like any sort of political, that's why we agreed to do the civic engagement event, because even though it was about elections, it was not aligned with any sort of political party. It was just to help people get more acquainted with how the election process works and how can they become registered voters. And there was one young man who just turned 18 who registered to vote. So that was good.
You want to weigh in, Adam?
I think Joy touched on the only thing you'd want to be. So yeah, it's hard to know exactly what issues could arise, but the one that would arise across the board is, you want to be careful about not putting the cities or the libraries in perimeter on a private business. So that's what Joy was. I interpret that as what Joy was talking about being careful not to endorse the business or things like that.
Perfect. I just felt the need to ask.
The more you know.
Okay.
I have a really dumb question.
Oh, never. There's
I
no
know,
such
you might
thing.
not even know the answer. Do the elementary schools here, do we do scholastic fairs anymore?
Some do.
Some do?
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
I don't know which ones here do, but I do know that they do them.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I don't know. I think
It's-
that would be kind of fun to do at the library one time.
Yeah, they do them. They don't do Riff anymore. Do you remember Riff?
Yes, yes.
I lived for Riff. And one year I got the trivia question right and got an extra book. But yeah, they don't do Riff anymore. But they do Scholastic. Yeah. I just don't know which schools. Maybe all of them do. I mean, it's a fundraiser for them to some extent.
Right.
So
Yeah. Huh, no, because you never, I just haven't heard of it, but
yeah,
then again, I don't have little kids. I was just wondering.
yeah.
Because if
They're
I
still-
didn't, I just think it'd be so much fun.
Yeah, it would. The thing that my only hesitation about that would be is if we have a Scholastic Book Fair and there's a cost associated at the library, then we're sort of stepping on our friends' toes because that's what they do across the street, is sell books. So, but, you know, I mean, there's all kinds of things that can be, that could be associated with a Scholastic Book Fair that wouldn't necessarily be that. So it's definitely something I could look into, and Haley might have more information about it too. So yeah, they still do them though in schools.
Wow.
So the summer reading program is almost here. Wander Beyond Words is the theme. And the signups will officially begin on June 1st. So what that means is people can go in and they can sign up in Beanstack and be ready to go and start the challenge on the 13th. That's the day of our kickoff party. And so people can go in and sign up so there's a little confusing here because sign up for patrons have begun means that people can go in and create an account and sign up in Beanstack as just a regular Beanstack user. They can then go up and sign in, or then go in, and once they've done that, and sign up for this challenge on the 1st of June. And then so they'll be ready to go. But they can't start logging their minutes because the challenge doesn't start until the 13th. Beanstack is the program that we use, the electronic program. They do also get logs on paper because some people have asked for that in the past, but I don't think we got any last year. So just about everybody's using the digital service.
Well, if I feel well enough, I will dress up in my Renaissance Fair outfit and come down.
I've already found an outfit. It's going to be, yeah, I've had a few ideas. Our staff really are great about getting into it. So it's going to be fun. And we're having kind of like a block party. So we're going to have vendors there. We're going to have other, I think, like there's going to be other community partners there. Some are still, that's not completely nailed down yet, but they're going to be on the periphery of the parking lot. The Friends are having books at parking lot sale across the street. So they'll get some action, which in turn means, eventually that it behooves us to help them get some action because we'll reap the rewards of that effort. So it's going to be fun. One of our staff members can make balloon animals, so we're going to have a balloon animal feature. So I think it's going to be really fun, and it's going to be much. So that's the kickoff party, and the block party. So we'll have a little bit of a block party for that, and then we'll have a more robust block party for the following Monday, which is the 60th birthday party. So sorry, I didn't do a very good job of distinguishing those 2 days. But so we've got the kickoff party, and there's going to be some stuff minimally and maybe some vendors in the parking lot. But then it's going to be much more robust block party and in our parking lot on the 15th, which is our 60th anniversary.
On the 15th?
Yes, which is that following Monday. That's our
Yeah.
actual day that we became Ormsby County Library, was June 15th. 1966. So we chose to have it on that day. Huh?
On here, am I missing something?
No, I was going to include that in my next, I didn't give that exact date. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, okay, June.
But it's also, our board meeting will be before that date. Our board meeting, I think, is the 8th of June.
Yes.
So I'll have more details about, because we'll have more of the block party vendors nailed down for the birthday celebration by that meeting, because they're still coming in. We've kind of blasted a bunch of different people, and we're waiting for confirmations we're still waiting on confirmations from a few. And then also we're going to do a time capsule. And the time capsules, we have a big barrel behind the circulation desk, the front desk, for people to come in and bring in any kind of library-related item they want to put in there. So photos of library programs or spaces, letters or notes to future readers, drawings or artwork, favorite book lists or recommendations in 2026, and then we'll bury it in the secret garden. And we'll put an identifier on it. So in the event that we get a new library, and we'll have to move the time capsule, we'll know where it is. And we've already been advertising for that, about the 60th anniversary time capsule. So that's all coming together.
You know, you did, but, and I could be wrong, but it seemed to me when I looked at it on Facebook,
Mhm.
it didn't really say what to bring.
Okay.
Like, it didn't really give any suggestions. It didn't say library themed. Because I know when I read it, I thought, I told a couple of my friends, oh, you know, it'd be kind of cool since you've lived in here, Carson, forever, bring some old photos or something, but actually, no.
I mean, I think if people can, whatever people really want to bring, we don't want to inhibit people, what people want to bring. But this is just a guide, but I can certainly get together with Haley and say maybe we should be just kind of help people along with ideas of what to bring. So that's going to be one of the big events of the party is the burial of the time capsule. And then we've created, we've got cute little bags that we're going to be handing out, and a bunch of other like 60th anniversary things. It's kind of interesting. I think I've mentioned it before, but Washoe's 60th anniversary party is going on right now. Vegas had theirs last year. I forget. It's not. I can't remember whoever on the east side of the state had a 60th. So we're all kind of like libraries were having a moment in 1966 in Nevada. Our final strategic planning workshop is pending. Dr. Steinman had to postpone April because of some personal stuff that he had going on. And now he and I are trying to sync up. I'm hoping I'm going to see him tomorrow at the Nevada Director Summit that's being hosted by the State Library up in Tahoe. Sarah and I have gone. It was half a day yesterday, today, and then half a day tomorrow. And he is going to be there to speak about the strategic plan building that he's doing with that entity. So hopefully I can pull him aside and say, hey, let's nail down some dates. So I'm going to skip the augmentation part because I explained that earlier. There's the patent room sign.
I love it. I love it.
And we're going to try and, as we're reconsidering signage throughout, we've got some ideas that are going to be aligned with that kind of look. But yeah, I like it. I think it turned out nice.
Very, very nice.
And then last but not least, Trustee Linares and I had met in person, and she had asked, or suggested really, that it would be good to have a visual aid to help better explain our staffing changes. So here we are. I will start with Trustee Linares. If you would like a more robust visual, I can provide that to you directly. So I have a couple of different graphs, but this one keeps it pretty simple. The reason for this was because in the course of our conversation and in conversations we've had here too, there's been some comments about having high turnover. And we actually haven't had very high turnover in terms of people leaving and positions being filled because people were leaving. We've had 2 people resign in this fiscal year. Those 2 positions being open sort of created this snowball effect of us promoting people. And when we promote people, their position becomes available. And so it looks like we have all these vacancies, which we have had, but those vacancies have been mostly related to the 6 promotions and potentially 7 promotions that we've had throughout this fiscal year. The position changes are from people who have stepped down that we talked about, and those positions became available, and then we've had 3 new hires.
I appreciate you taking the time to do that.
You bet.
And yes, I would like data.
It's confusing. I will explain to you. I will be very clear about that, and I can provide that to all of you, whomever wants to see that information. But it is very confusing just because we've got library assistant, we'll say 1, 2, 3, and then 2 moved into senior library position 1, but then senior library position 1 moved into librarian 1. And so it is a game of whack-a-mole. So it definitely takes some study to really understand, but at the end of the day, what has actually happened is we've had 2 people resign, and we then began promoting people. And as those people got promoted, the position they were promoted from became open, and So that's why we have, if you were just to go and look at our vacancies over the last year with human resources, it's a lot. But those positions have mostly become available because we've had 6, soon to be 7 promotions. And so those positions became available. 7 positions became available throughout the course of the year because of a promotion to another position. Mm-hmm.
So, and maybe Adam can help me out here. I really appreciate this because it's good for us to kind of have an idea of what's going on. But on the other hand, our job is not to watch over HR and the positions. That's not part of our job.
I totally agree, but at the same time, if I am part of the board and I'm getting a sense of something that's happening that is incorrect, then I'm not as informed as I should be. So when I say I want the data, right, then that's helpful for me, for her to tell us this today, because otherwise I don't have a good understanding of what is happening in the big picture. Yes, it is her job to manage all the people, but at the same time, we're looking at the big picture of the library. And so I appreciate the conversation. If it's something that I should just have with Joy, that's fine. That's all right with me.
Well, I think that what Trustee Nichols is wanting from Adam is just maybe, if you are able, Adam, or maybe we need
Is
to
it
ask
okay
HR.
for us to ask her to drill down more on this? Like, I mean, if it is
So
great.
I'll say that Joy had prepared additional diagrams that gave more detail. And I asked her to remove those because I don't think it was appropriate for an open meeting, and that there was enough information on it to identify specific employees, which is not something we want to be doing in an open meeting.
Yeah, and just to be clear, their names weren't on it, but if someone wanted to know who those people were,
If you looked at it long enough,
yeah,
and
you could figure it
and
out.
you had enough baseline information.
Right, if you knew there, yeah.
Mhm.
I guess I just, again, I know where you're coming from, and I can really appreciate it, and it's a fine line we're walking. I mean, trust me, I get very frustrated sometimes with the fine line. But yeah, 2 things, I don't want something like that to happen in an open meeting, but I also don't want to ask Joy to do something that is beyond anything we have any control over, if that makes any sense.
I mean, I hear what you're saying, because the management of human resources issues is outside of the purview of the board statutorily. Yeah.
Right. So,
But on the other hand, we're still responsible for the library director's evaluation,
right.
which.
So that's why I said it's a fine
yeah,
line, it's hard.
It is.
It's very hard.
And so, to be concerned about a perceived, call it a perceived activity, I think it's good for us to be able to ask questions. But again, open meetings, we have to be careful of what is said and how it's said, but we still are responsible for the overall, I want to say the overall management of the library
Right.
through the evaluation of the
Right.
library director. It's hard.
But yeah, I
It
think
is.
and I think Adam's point was, after I thought about it, obviously, yes, correct. It could be, so if someone wanted to dial it down and figure out who it was, they could. Also, it's the purpose of this and all of this was really to negate the perception that we have this incredibly high turnover rate and that it's bad. So we've had turnover, but it's mostly because of internal promotions, which are good, in my opinion, as the director. And I think it's actually really boosted morale for staff. But when you have outside people inferring that us having the number of vacancies that we have is because of some untoward reason or unfair reason or bad reason, I just wanted to be clear for y'all and for you to, if you were to go out and advocate for the library, for people to be, what's going on over there? That director, she got a high turnover rate. Well, that's not actually true. If you were just to look at our vacancies, of course, and if you were to look at even these agendas, it doesn't get specific about the movement. And so I just wanted to be clear. And also is with giving more details as to the flow chart of how these things all moved around. That is also, I think, helpful, but I think what Chair Nichols was really getting at and is concerned for, that somehow that will evolve into a conversation about how I should be managing people and what I should be doing, and that can get into long arm managing of the library in a way that is not appropriate statutorily. So that's why it's fuzzy, right?
It's very fuzzy. I appreciate that you're talking with Adam about it, and so we have good guidance. And it is just very helpful, because in the big picture, it isn't just the evaluation, it's everything you said, Joy. It is, if I don't have a picture of it, if we don't have a picture of it, we can't be good advocates, and we can't be as effective as we should be as the Board of Trustees to understand the library and how it's going and what it needs. It's just information. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
And I'm glad you asked for it, because this afternoon I was going, I wonder how many people have left the library this year. So I like this pie chart a lot. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And that's all I've got, y'all.
Okay. Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. Moving on to item 5B, trustee reports, announcements, and requests for information.
I have an announcement. It's Vice Chair Lucas for the record. This is my last meeting. I'm getting ready to move out of the area this summer, and so cannot complete my term. But it's been great. It's been a good 5.5 or 6-ish years, because I took a remainder term before my first term. So I don't remember. It's been a little while, but thank you, everybody, and I've really enjoyed it. I'm going to miss everyone. I'm going to miss this, but I'm going to be in Northern California, so I just can't make it work anymore.
Yeah. Well, you will be sorely missed. You've been such an incredible support, and I appreciate you. And I think I speak for everyone at the library that we just couldn't have gotten to this place without your support for what everyone over there is doing, So you've been part of the team, and you've been a really critical part of the team. So thank
It's going to
you.
be very strange. I'm going to have to find a new library after having been here since kindergarten.
Well, the thing is you might go and come back and say, so Joy, I saw this cool thing. So you can still be helping us from afar by observing places, things that we could be doing better.
Well, I want to thank you, because you've been amazing. You've been an amazing ally, a friend, and I appreciate it. And I'm going to cry.
No, we're not crying tonight. I told myself we're not doing that.
And you've been an amazing vice chair.
Oh, well, I've led 2 meetings.
I don't know what to do without you. I'm going to be totally freaking lost without
So it's going to be fine. Everything will be fine.
you. I have an announcement, and it's going to be kind of cryptic because this is an open meeting, but I do need to let everyone know that I am going to be out of town right before our next meeting, and I'm going to try really, really hard to be here. But there may be some circumstances where I'm not. And my fear is because the next meeting where Joy's evaluation is due, but because Jeff is collating and doing everything, it's not
Aggregating.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
not going to, let's say we didn't have a meeting because we didn't have a quorum, because Beth will be gone, I'm gonna be gone. Would that impact your evaluation?
Yes, in terms of it being executed. Yeah. Yeah.
A quorum is 3?
So if
Okay.
all the legwork is done beforehand and HR is doing the wrap-up and everything,
Right.
it sounds like as long as there's 3 people here, it could still be approved.
And a quorum changes when there's a open seat, right?
It'd still be 3 with an
Right.
open seat, because you gotta have, half plus 1.
Yeah. And so, yeah, we could also, if we ran up against not having a quorum, I could reach out and see what we could do to have you Zoom in if you were able to do that.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying if circumstances and I can't be here, it's probably not real good. So,
Yeah, seriously. But yeah, it would have to, if we didn't have a quorum, we would just have to wait to do the approval of the evaluation and all of that.
well, I'm gonna do everything I can to be here, but I just wanted to announce in case you all got something from Joy and it's like, what is going on? That is what's going on.
Speaking of getting stuff from me, did everybody receive the materials from HR and from me that were needed to move forward with the evaluation?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Does anybody else have an announcement? What a night for announcements. Jeez. No, come on.
No, just the, as Joy mentioned, the Browser's Corner bookstore, the Friends, will be having a parking lot sale on the 13th, the day that the summer reading program starts.
Oh, nice.
So,
Okay.
it won't be giant, but there'll be balloons and bubbles.
That's all you need. Balloons, bubbles, and books. What else you got?
I forgot. I have a bag of puzzles in my house I was gonna bring.
For the puzzle exchange?
Mhm.
We had to move it. It's grown.
Is it? Well, I'm
Yeah.
just gonna donate them.
Yeah, no, the donations have grown, so,
That's
and
awesome.
people are using it and loving it, so, yeah, it's been successful.
The Browser's Corner has a puzzle sale going on right now, buy one, get one free, but it's only 1,000 piece or over.
Ooh,
I should
because,
tell my mom about that. Okay.
the 1,000-piece puzzles they're not as popular as the 300 and 500-piece puzzles.
I mean, that's, listen, 1,000 pieces, that's hardcore.
I can't imagine why.
Guess on my mind, and sorry to be so not as much fun as any of you. The strategic plan, we're still going to be, we aren't going to have any time problems with this little smidge of a delay. We'll be okay.
No,
Yeah.
because we got a waiver, so we've got a
Okay.
lot more breathing room because of it.
Okay, good. Well, I hope you have a successful conversation with
Me
him and
too.
get a plan.
And
Great.
things just have happened, and this was unavoidable for reasons.
Oh, we
and
don't, I
then
don't need to hear
and then
any of that.
also,
That's fine.
then once then I'm in training because I went to the Nevada Library Association a conference with 2 staff members, and then I'm at this summit, and then at the end of June we'll. Two managers and I will be going to Chicago for ALA. So, trying to sync all of those schedules up has been a challenge. But yes, we will get there.
Good. Beth, I'll miss you. You've been a very welcoming presence on the board for the new people. Thank you. You all have. It's been very nice, all of you. Make me feel very welcome.
I'm sitting here thinking like, wait a minute though, I was here before COVID, so that means more than 6.
No? I don't think. No.
It wasn't COVID 2020?
Well, extended though.
But I mean, like, I remember having meetings here before we then had to start switch to digital meetings during COVID. So, I don't know.
No, you were here because you were here.
When Amanda Long,
You were filling in.
Amanda Long was president,
Yeah,
and
but,
Dr. Colgrove was here.
right, and you came
And
in,
Phyllis was still on our board. too.
yeah, and you were filling someone else's term,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was when you guys were still Zooming. Because you were here before me. I mean, you were here before me, before I was even deputy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aw, it's the end of an era. But exciting too for you.
No, I work remote. And so does my partner. So we are keeping our jobs.
You're just relocating from where, that's cool. I love it that you're taking an adventure. Right on.
I can't live here forever. Well, I don't want to live here forever and ever. I might be back, but
Do we have any more reports, announcements, and requests for information? Okay, one more time for public comment. If anybody has anything they want to say. Nobody here, so let's move on and let's adjourn the meeting. And then we can gush all over you. And this poor guy's not taking notes as we tell you how wonderful you are. And how much.